Sorry. Okay. Okay, as per requirement, notice is hereby given this is a regular meeting of the Borough of Highlands Land Use Board. All requirements have been met. Notice has been transmitted to the Asbury Park Press and the Two River Times. Notice has been posted on the public bulletin board. Formal action will be taken. Roll call, please.
Mayor Goulan?
Here.
Chief Burton? Ms. LaRusso? Mr. Montecalvo?
Here.
Councilmember Olszewski? Mr. Saya?
Here.
Mr. Zill?
Here.
Vice Chair Tierney? Here. Chair Knox?
Here.
Ms. Chang?
Here.
Mr. Kramer? Mr. Cody?
Here.
Ms. Bickley? Here. Thank you.
Okay. At this point, this is open for general questions or comments, not pertaining to anything we're going to hear this evening. Anybody have any questions or how this board operates or anything? Okay, and moving forward, approval of minutes, March 13, 2025, the AB meeting minutes. I'll offer that.
Chairman, I move to move it. Second.
Mr. Saya motion and Mr. Zill seconded. Mayor Goulan?
Yes.
Mr. Montecalvo?
Yes.
Mr. Saya?
Yes.
Mr. Zill?
Yes.
Ms. Chang? Yes. Mr. Kramer? Oh, sorry. Mr. Cody?
Yes.
Chair Knox?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, under action of other business, 0-25-05, amendment to sign ordinance. Questions or comments on that, or?
I have a question. So, the size of the signs was increased from 2 to 4 feet, total square feet. That doesn't have to go through a permit process. Can we talk a little bit about why? What's the rationale?
Sure. The changes that were made, a lot of the omissions were because of recent First Amendment cases that were ruled through the court systems. And so we had to remove a lot of language because the sign ordinance was quite old. So that's one of the things. Also, the size of the signs without a permit is because it was mostly for temporary signs, like political signs, or, you know, the signs that they stick in the grass that are for real estate or lawn care or other types of things like that. So the signs that go on a business are completely different because they're affixed to the building. These are for temporary signs.
Right, so the change was A1, I think, section 21105, so this the exemption portion of it. So it's any sign that had an aggregated area of less than 4 square feet, it used to be 2. I was just wondering what, like, the increase in size, was there a reason?
Because you don't often see any, so there aren't really signs that are out there that are less than 4 square.
Okay, so like 2 by 2, basically.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Please note that Mr. Kramer
Oh, yes,
arrived
thank
at 7:04 p.m.
Okay. Looking for a motion on that?
It's basically a consistency review.
Okay.
So that's just for clarification that the proposed ordinance is not inconsistent with the master plan.
Okay, so we don't necessarily vote on
So
this?
you still, I mean, it makes sense to not memorialize, but to put the board's action into motion. So
Okay.
I would still make a motion as to whether it's not inconsistent with the master plan.
I'll offer the motion that is consistent with the master plan.
I'll second that.
That was Mr. Saya. Mayor Goulan?
Yes.
Mr. Montecalvo?
Yes.
Mr. Saya?
Yes.
Mr. Zill?
Yes.
Ms. Chang?
Yes.
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
Mr. Cody?
Yes.
Vice Chair Tierney?
Yes.
Chair Knox?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, under hearing of new business, the 19 Bay Avenue was I guess we're going to hear that next month? Is that my understanding? They wanted to,
Correct. Yep, the applicant submitted a request to carry the hearing to the May hearing date. So that will be carried to the May 8th hearing date. No further notice will be required. No further notice is required, and no further notice will be issued.
okay. Is that something we need a motion on, or?
Nope, that's
I
it.
didn't think so, okay. We should switch these. I mean, this is probably pretty quick.
Yes. Yeah, I agree.
Okay. All right, we're just going to go out of order here just a little bit. We're going to go to item number 5 on the new business, LUB 25-04, the Honorable Plant. I think they're here this evening. 123 Bay Ave, Block 46, Lot 3, amendment to resolution.
Thank you. I have Megan Doyle appearing for the Honorable Plant. I have the affidavit of mailing as well as the affidavit of proof of service. I don't know if you want the originals or the copies.
You can give them to the secretariat, but you can do that at the end. The notice is in order.
Okay. I wasn't sure if you were aware of that. The plan is attempting to utilize the already approved ordinance to change the hours of operation Sunday through Wednesday, 8 a.m. to 9 p.m., Thursday through Saturday, 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. The original application had different hours because the ordinance was different.
Okay.
So,
I only have really one question. Well, I guess there's really 2 questions. Is there anything in our town ordinance that would restrict that, or the state? I don't know if the state has any kind of particular guidelines on hours of operation,
No.
or if the borough has anything in that regard.
We changed it by ordinance.
Okay.
Because it was, in the original ordinance, it was different hours to give an accommodation to the church that they're
Correct.
next door to, and that church is not owned by the church anymore and is already been
Right.
sold to a private entity, so that accommodation no
Okay.
longer exists.
Right, so this needs the state requirements as well?
It does.
Okay.
And then just to clarify, the prior resolution, it was as a condition of approval to limit Sunday hours to 12 to 5. And then going back through, and you can see the representations there, there were the representation that there was a school operating out of the church within X amount of feet to the proposed facility. Based on that, the applicants agreed to limit Sunday hours even further than what the town had restricted them at the time. Since then, as everyone has indicated, the ordinance has expanded the permitted hours on Sundays, and it's my understanding that the church and school no longer operate in that area.
That is correct. I know it as well. Okay. Looking for a motion to approve this amendment to the resolution. Okay,
Second.
okay.
Mr. Zill, motion, Ms. Tierney, seconded. Mayor Bruin.
Yes.
Mr. Zaya. Sorry.
Yes.
Mr. Zill.
Yes.
Ms. Chang.
I will abstain on this one, thank you.
Mr. Kramer.
Yes.
Mr. Cody.
Yes.
Vice Chair Tierney.
Yes.
Chair Knox.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, motion passes. Okay, good luck.
Thank you.
Any time frame on when you're looking to open?
I think we're going to get a CRC inspection on May 5th,
Okay,
so weeks after that. So hopefully prior to Memorial Day weekend. Should be really, really exciting.
great.
I'm really looking forward to it.
Okay, well, the mural looks great.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's pretty wild, so, okay, good luck.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Thank you.
May I ask a question? With this ordinance that she has, do the restaurants have a particular time, hours of operation?
Okay, ma'am, I'm sorry, I'm not sure this is the appropriate time, but, no, I guess just repeat that question, I'll honor your question.
I just thought it was curious, if you're saying that you know her currently.
Restaurants is pretty broad, because you could serve breakfast to dinner, you know, and,
That's all.
yeah, okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yep.
Oh, is that right? Okay. So she's open at 5 a.m., but, okay, well, whatever, okay. Okay, under hearing of new business, AUB 25-03, Natashi, I hope I said it right, 19 Gravity Point, Block 100, lot 26.19, variance revised approval. So, are they here this evening as well? Okay. That's fine. Yeah. We have a microphone here as well, but you'll probably, I would imagine need that, Nancy? Or at
Yes,
least get
that's
closer to it?
That's all.
Yep.
Then we have one board member conflicted on this, right, Nancy? Yeah, yep.
Yeah, look at you. Thank you for
I may have gotten it the first time around.
No, it was Harry. Yeah, yeah. Just missed that one, okay. Yeah, okay, okay, go ahead.
My name is John Stasi, and I'm an architect, representing my client, John Stasi, who is my cousin's son. And I'm here, Sherry and John at a house in Bradley Point Road, and they have prior approval to have this house built, but they do want to propose some minor modifications to the existing approval. So I'm here representing the owners in this modification of the existing approval. We're actually asking for a variance for a deck on the front of their house.
Okay, I guess before we go any further, I guess we should probably
Yeah.
get some credentials and
Do them
swear
both.
you in and, that's.
Just raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? And could you, put your credentials on the record?
Okay, my name is John Nastasi, Nastasi. I have practiced in Hoboken for 35 years in Nastasi Architects. I have 2 degrees in architecture, Bachelor of Architecture from Pratt Institute in Brooklyn, Master of Design at Harvard. I have 30 years of teaching experience at the University of Harvard.
Okay,
Qualifications are accepted.
okay, so go ahead, sir, yeah.
So I'll jump in. Yeah, one more way. So on Bradley Point, 19 Bradley Point Road,
And then, wait, I guess just, so these were submitted, these are the ones from April 2nd? Is that,
these were not.
oh, these are not submitted at all, okay, so these will be marked then. These will be
These
A1.
are the new drawings.
The new drawings have been submitted.
Yep.
I just have a couple images just to clarify my presentation.
Okay,
Okay.
so this will be A1 will be images of, how many sheets is it?
Right.
3, so A1 will be 3 sheets of images of the site.
So on sheet A2, I have 2 pictures of the existing condition of the house. And you can see John and Sherry's house right here in the photograph, right here in the photograph. They have an existing wood deck on the front of their house. Here you're looking towards the water, and you can see the condition of the other houses on Bradley Point. Now, John and Sherry have been here at the board for an approval, and this is the floor plan that was previously approved using another architect. And you notice there's no front deck on the house that was previously approved. So what I'm proposing is a modification to this existing approval in that we're proposing a front deck on Bradley that wraps around the side. So, and I've learned a lot reading through your ordinance. We could have rebuilt the original deck and not needed the variance, but because we're expanding that deck, that wood deck is here, we're expanding and wrapping. Because it was modified, we have to ask for new variance for the front deck. So we're here to ask for variance for this front deck.
Okay. Well, what are the variances? I'm going to go over that real quickly. Just what are we looking at? Are these covered decks, or these, hard to tell by the pictures, but.
Well, the ordinance discusses 2 ways to address decks in the area. This is section 21-86.8.4B, parens 2, parens A. So, in this lot and block area, one, decks may extend to locations equivalent to those which existed prior to elevation or reconstruction as determined by prior property surveys.
Okay.
So meaning, there's a survey for this property, we know where the deck was. Or, if you do not have a prior property survey available, any new decks attached to the front of the dwelling can extend to a location which is the equivalent of the location of the front decks located on adjacent properties. Those are the two ways the ordinance allows a deck,
Okay.
right? And this is a little different than both of these items.
That's why they're here. Right. Okay. I guess I was asking if the decks were covered or uncovered, because that triggers something else.
Yes, there are existing ones, and
The proposed is also.
The existing deck is uncovered. This terrace is uncovered.
Right.
But there is a little piece to get into the dining room.
Okay.
That's slightly covered. When you go into the dining room there.
So are you tearing down the existing house and building a new house?
We're reconstructing the house, yes, under prior approval, yes.
They were here several months ago.
No, I'm trying to figure out if I'm tearing down the existing house and building a new house.
They came here, I think, off memory.
In August or.
wait, hang on.
Yeah.
I was actually going to say it might help to get some context, even though the prior approval exists and we know, but it might help to get some context of the prior approval, just for the board to kind of reinform themselves. So I don't know if that would be the owners or you either way.
Right, my clients received a prior approval for the house to hide the boat setbacks, and they thought they were done. And then they asked me to step in, and especially the front deck that was missing from the approval. And for the most part, the house is pretty much the way it was designed. I tweaked a few things in the kitchen and whatnot, but the only substantial difference in what was already approved and what we're looking at tonight is the front door deck.
I guess where we're kind of going also, I mean, I'm not sure you would know this answer or not. I think I remember it, but I don't want to go too crazy. It came before the board. It was a single-story building, and you put a second floor on it and was raised, or is it already raised? I remember. What was the prior? Okay, all right.
I think it might make sense, maybe we could get, just, or if you're done with, or if you want to continue with the testimony, but then at some point shifting to the client just to get to the comment.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the case, just a little more
That's a
detail.
house now, though, right? And it shows 2 stories. So it's 2 stories.
Give me a dirty look if I'm wrong.
Okay.
They got the approval several months ago, haven't acted on anything yet. And so this is the existing house before they got the approval. They have an approval in hand, and that's the plan that I just showed you. It just did not rebuild the deck.
Why do I think this, before you maybe came before the board for this house? I'm thinking, well, the people that, did you buy it, already lifted and?
We're gonna get.
Okay, yeah.
We're gonna, which is fine, we were just waiting.
Okay, that's fine. It's almost, I'm sorry, it's actually irrelevant to the case. It's just more, we're looking at history. That's fine. It doesn't pertain to what we're trying to do. Sorry about that. So go ahead. Okay. Any, questions from the board?
Well, if I may, you got your approval, you went to the zoning officer, or you went to get building permits, and the zoning officer said this doesn't look the same.
Correct.
Okay. Now, the plans that you submitted, they are just slightly different with where the house is located on the lot. A difference of a foot to less than a foot, at the front, at the side. Can you tell us how that happened? Or why?
I have the drawing set that I already submitted. So now this is the drawings that you guys already have a copy of. Give me 1 second. There we go. Now, in the drawing set that I submitted to the town, sheet G102.3, because I was trying to understand the same exact thing that you're asking, I submitted this diagram to everybody, and we have, here's the house as it was approved, and here's my modification, and if you see, I have in light blue the required setbacks, we comply with the required setbacks. My proposed house is actually further off the side yard setback. The one that was previously approved is closer to the side yard than what I'm proposing, so I'm increasing the side yard setback. But we still fully comply with the setbacks, with the exception of this front porch, which is the ground. So this new version of the house is just slightly further away from the side yard setback. For a wood deck, it's a very complicated application.
There's no side, no side yard setback. No, there is.
Any questions from anyone on the board?
We get a little testimony as to the deviation, as to the size of the deck that existed before and what's being proposed, and how much bigger we're talking about here.
Yes, if you stay on G102.3, I have dotted in the wood deck in this drawing, you can see it right here, and it really sat just over on one side of the house. Now I'm going full width of the house. So we're taking the same projection line, but expanding it to the full width of the house, plus a little side area, so that from the dining room or living room, you can come out to the side deck and then be able to sit in front and look down the street toward the water. So we're now full width to the house. Which I think is a little more practical for this block.
And that compares to the existing, and I've got dimensions here of about 9 feet by 17 feet. Okay, and then there are some other dimensions that I think would help the board. The distance from the house to the property line, and then from the deck to the edge of the pavement.
So I'm going to reference this middle drawing where all my site dimensions are. If we start sort of on the west side or inland away from the water, the house is 6 feet 6 inches from the property line.
Can you compare it to what was approved?
Same dimensions.
Great.
If I go to the water side or the east side of the house, our house is about 8 feet 1 inch from the property line. And then, as approved previously, is only 5 feet. So I'm coming off that. The front yard, as approved, because the house is skewed to the property line, 5.58 in the greatest dimension, 5.58 in the new scenario is 4.6, and then the small dimension 4.11, and that's down to 3.1.
Okay, so you're a little closer to property line.
But
Still within the setbacks.
so within the setback, which
Right.
is not on this drawing. So it kind of
Mm-hmm.
big
And,
piece of the house.
well, then, once you put the big deck on, right, it gets close to the road. Why did you move the house closer and then add a deck as opposed to just leave the house where it was, or possibly, well, you can't really go back any further,
Can't
right?
really go back.
Right.
As a matter of fact, that existing corner, we're using the existing foundations and the existing, that corner existing bites into the
Right.
setback.
So why did you come closer?
And we put the deck on the house within the allowable setback of the deck. the deck just got longer to be more functional. But we're not projecting over what's allowed to be projected, because we're aligning with the neighbor.
Would you say that again? If you put the deck in the allowable, it's longer than what you are proposing? Yeah, I didn't understand what you said.
The deck is allowed to, based on the report, we can align with the neighbor, and we're aligning, we're not projecting past the neighbor, so we're allowed to do that technically. However, the original deck is only half the width of the house, and we're elongating the width of the deck, but not the projection. The projection deck is still within conforming dimension. We just made it longer, wider. And I think that's more functional to the house. It works better from a practical standpoint.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions? Comments or anything?
Was that a question? Or was that mine?
Okay, anybody from the audience have any, questions?
I'll just offer some comments. I know, we found the kind of two options the ordinance provides here. I know, the board engineer and I had a chance to discuss, and it seems, since there was a survey initially, that's how we got to this point, that you'd be going under, they're not labeled as A and B, but I'll just call the first one A, that you'd be under the option of if you have a survey, but in this case, they still need the variance relief anyway. So it really doesn't effectively matter which problem, but you have to actually, need relief from one of them. So in this case, it'd be the first one that talks about you can extend the locations equivalent to those that existed prior to elevation or reconstruction as determined by a prior property survey. So that, as the zoning officer had indicated and the board engineer, it doesn't conform to that, but that's obviously why they're here, for the variance from that portion of the ordinance. And then I guess if I just had a few questions, so kind of going to the criteria, do you envision any negative impact to the neighbors for zoning ordinance or master plan with this proposal?
I do not.
And how would the project enhance kind of the community?
Well, I think the house, the way it's being designed now with the front terrace aligning with the neighbors, I think it's more according to the character scale and character of the neighborhood. And I think when the clients are on their terrace, looking down, graveling towards the water, I think that's part of the kind of culture and character of our neighborhood. So I think it's an enhancement.
I guess to talk to, this was noticed.
Oh, correct, yes. So the plan anyway, notice was proper. And
Right. Just want to note that, okay.
No, it's good. That's because to get on the record, so I appreciate that.
Okay. Any other questions from any of the members of the board? Okay. Any questions for everybody in the audience? Any statements? Okay, and I guess we're looking for a motion. I guess this is a revised variance. Is that how we're?
It actually just stands on its own, because
Okay.
of the nature. It's not in a site plan situation, you amend a site plan, but in this case, their first application was just for very specific variances. This was not one of them.
Okay.
So although kind of an oddity.
Well, that's why they had noticed as well.
Yeah,
That makes
so
sense,
this is
because
an independent
it's on its own,
application,
right?
Even though if it is if the board acts favorably on it, resolution compliance for both applications, for both matters would proceed hand in hand, since it's the same, they would do the same thing.
That was the question I had, and one set of resolution compliance forms.
We can discuss, assuming there's a favorable approval, then yes, you would just submit them and identify the two resolutions.
Okay. So then, I guess the motion would be that we would either approve or deny their modifications on their pre-existing plans, and we would go with obviously the new plans.
Correct. Yeah, I would say it's a request for variance relief to construct a deck that's not conforming to the ordinance. In this case, it will also operate to effectively modify the plans that are being submitted for post-resolution compliance. At its heart, though, it is, I guess if we're making the motion, it's a motion to grant a variance relief for the deck to be constructed at the property.
Okay. because I'm just trying to, I guess, marry the two, so that we don't all of a sudden, I don't know, just
Yeah, and I.
run into what was approved and overrode and this and
And
that.
there'll be a reference, again, assuming the board acts favorably, the resolution will not rely on, but will reference the prior resolution of approval, just for the purpose of making sure that there's an understanding that they're.
Because the general structure of the house is not moved
Correct.
from what we approved.
Even
So
though-
basically, the only thing we're really looking at is the deck, period, because the house was the house.
Right.
Okay.
Right,
Is that the way to look at it? I mean,
And there is some, when a plan deviates too much from what's approved, you can end up needing to have it,
I think we heard an inch and an
yeah,
inch,
I would
you
say
know.
it doesn't trigger.
Okay.
And there's no additional variance really triggered. The one thing I guess I will say, and the deck will project into the right of way, but that is what occurs in that zone, in the bungalow colonies, which is kind of the essence of that ordinance and the way it's written.
So this is a C1 variance?
C2.
It's a C2, okay.
Okay. After all that, looking for a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Okay. Look for a second? Okay. Roll call.
Just so we're clear, it's a motion to approve, or just, someone needs to say what the motion is.
Right.
That we're approving the modifications to the deck on a standalone variance.
So that was Mr. Cody motioning, Mr. Zill seconding. Mayor Bruin?
Yes.
Mr. Montecalvo?
Yes.
Mr. Zaya?
Yes.
Mr. Zill?
Yes.
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
Mr. Cody?
Yes.
Ms. Vickery?
Yes.
Vice Chair Tierney? Yes. Chair Knox?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Good luck. Looks great.
Thank
Good
you
luck.
so much.
No problem.
See you guys later.
Just, we don't want to see you back here for a while.
They don't want to be.
I mean, you're always welcome for it.
We're back at the house.
There you go.
Thank you very much.
No problem. Okay,
Have a good
good
night.
luck, yeah. I guess that kind of is it, but anything we want to talk about while we got any master plan updates at all? I know I think we're on the clock now officially, aren't we?
We are on the clock.
Yeah.
The planner is just finishing up, 2 other, things that she's doing for us.
Okay,
And then she will be at the next meeting in May,
okay.
so, we could, speak with her, as a group,
What was that organization again? The names of,
hiring group,
that's right. Okay,
and the planner's name is Susan Brew.
okay,
So then she's gonna clear out these other 2 things that are laying around that, are due in April, so then she'll be ready to go for our master plan planning.
all right, sounds good. Okay, I guess at that point, looking for a motion to adjourn. All in favor?
Who motioned?
Oh, I'm sorry, what's that?
On motion.
Okay,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Meeting adjourned at 7:35.
All right.
All right.
Good job.